Good evening, everyone. My name is Annaliese VanderMolen, and the title of my thesis is Abortion: Endless Procedures, Ended Lives. America, you are beautiful and blessed. The ultimate test of your greatness is the way you treat every human being, but especially the weakest and the most defenseless. If you want equal justice for all, and true freedom and lasting peace, then America, defend life. This quote from Pope John Paul II gives us a perfect picture of how the value of life should be viewed in America. In the United States, we celebrate freedom. It is the foundation of this country. However, freedom cannot be upheld if the basic concept of life is not protected, and the true test of freedom is how we treat the weakest members of society. Imagine this scenario. A girl named Savannah is sitting in a doctor's office. The smell of a sterile, dry environment stings her nostrils, and the sound of a doctor's footsteps fills her ears. Sitting in the waiting room, the thoughts of the decision she is about to make floods her mind. Attempting to calm the nerves that she has, Savannah reminds herself of what the National Abortion Federation website said when she researched this procedure. Let go of the shame, guilt, or fear. Know that you are making the best decision for you and your life. You are not alone. Many people just like you have walked this path. But was abortion really the best decision for her? How could it possibly solve all her problems? Is this what freedom really is? Was she really killing her child, or just a clump of cells? Soon, Savannah could not even focus on her surroundings. Her mind became overwhelmed as she relived the past few weeks in her head. When her parents had found out that she was pregnant, they had flipped and demanded that she had an abortion. And now, 4 weeks later, here she was, sitting in an abortion clinic, waiting to be called back. She thought to herself, is there any way out? The history of abortion in the United States dates back to Margaret Sanger. In 1914, she coined the term birth control, and in 1921, she founded the American Birth Control League, which now today is the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Sanger believed that women should not be burdened with unwanted pregnancies and became a passionate advocate for birth control. She stated that no woman can call herself free who does not control her own body. This belief is founded on the feminist movement, which believes that women should have equal rights to men, including reproductive freedom. These views are the very foundation of abortion in America today and draws the line between pro-choice and pro-life. One of the most influential events in America that affected the issue of abortion was the Supreme Court ruling of Roe v. Wade in 1973. This ruling declared that a woman's right to abortion is protected by the right to liberty in the United States Constitution. From 1973 to today, there have been many fluctuations in the abortion rate in the United States, but one thing remains constant. Abortion has been and still is a prevalent topic in today's society. With the recent overturning of Roe v. Wade, the debate of abortion has come into full swing. Abortion nowadays is considered by pro-choice advocates a regular practice of women's rights and health care. However, the pro-life argument states that abortion is not a right that women possess, but rather a matter of the rights of the unborn. Regardless of the differing of opinions on abortions, that does not change the fact that over 63 million abortions have been performed in the United States since 1973. From 1973 until today, there have been many. With the recent overturning of Roe v. Wade in 1973, in 2022, the debate on abortion has come into full swing. Abortion nowadays is considered by the pro-choice advocates a regular practice of women's health care. Regardless, abortion is a relevant topic in today's society that is not a fact that can be ignored. Two terms that are often thrown around in any discussion of abortion, and that I have already lightly touched on, are the pro-life and pro-choice. These terms represent the two different sides of the abortion debate. The pro-life stance on abortion believes that it is murder, and that every person deserves the right to life. And the pro-choice argument states that abortion is the right of the decision of the mother, and that it is up to her what she does with her own body. In order to properly understand both sides of these arguments, the term of abortion must be universally defined. What is abortion? Abortion is the termination of a pregnancy after, accompanied by, resulting in, or closely followed by the death of an embryo or fetus. In other words, abortion is the ending of a life of a fetus. So why does the issue of abortion matter? With the recent overturning of Roe v. Wade in 2022, it is important to understand the adverse effects of abortion and how this problem affects the United States. It may seem like abortion is a rare occurrence, but when we look at the big picture, thousands of abortions are performed in the United States each day. Thousands of lives are ended, and thousands of children are never given the chance to live. The debate of abortion is quite literally a matter of life and death for the unborn. Abortion is not only morally wrong according to Christian teaching, but it is also a violation of the human right to life. The Christian belief in the sanctity of life is incompatible with the practice of abortion, which involves the taking of an innocent human life. Every person is made in the image of God. Genesis 1:27 states, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them." But what exactly does it mean to be made in the image of God? The phrase, "in the image of God," can be defined as the metaphysical expression associated uniquely to humans, which signifies the symbolic connection between God and humanity. Humans are a reflection of God's nature, with souls and self-awareness. Being made in the image of God sets us apart from the rest of creation and gives every person the ability to have a conscious knowledge of who God is. God has created each life with value, and abortion promotes a society where life is disposable. Abortion destroys the beautiful thing that God has created. In order to properly understand why life has such an important value, we must understand the definition of personhood. For non-Christians, there is no definite line that determines personhood, and there are many different beliefs as to when one achieves this. Several philosophers have given an attempt at setting the line for when a human attains personhood. Whether that be Daniel Dennett's 6 themes of personhood, John Locke's 3 criteria, or Immanuel Kant's 1 specific criterion, all of these qualifications of personhood can essentially be summed up into intelligence, self-awareness, verbal communication, memory, morals, and personality. However, not all of these criteria apply to every person. There are some people who do not have the ability to talk or have the ability to attain intelligence. In children's first year of life, they have no memory. So where can the line of personhood be drawn? Because there is no clear line here, this takes away the human value of life and allows people to willingly have an abortion, no questions asked. Without the biblical understanding of human personhood and dignity as image bearers of God, society is free to degenerate into violence, oppression, and exploitation of the weak by the strong. Christians believe that personhood begins at the moment of creation. The biblical definition for personhood is that all humans possess a soul and a conscience. The soul gives us the ability to have a personal relationship with God, our Creator, and our conscience gives us the knowledge of right and wrong. Because humans are made in God's image, these criteria are innately embedded into every one of us. This gives every life value because each human is a person, perfectly created by God, and not just an expendable body with organs. In addition to abortion destroying God's creation, it also allows people to put themselves in God's place, who is the author and giver of life. Psalm 139, verse 13 through 16 states, "For you created my inmost being, you knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body, and all the days were ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." God knows every detail of each person's life before we are even born. From first breath to last, God has each day ordained for every person and has a plan for every life. However, abortion puts us in the place of God and interferes with God's plans. We become the author of life and put our will before God's, following our earthly desires. Not only is abortion incompatible with the Christian belief of the value of life, but it also violates our rights as humans. The foundational question of the abortion argument is, when does life begin? The true reality is, life begins at conception. It's that simple. There's no other point in time that life begins. Apart from each other, the sperm and egg are not living. However, when they unite at the moment of conception, new life begins. In this moment, a unique genetic code, different from both of the parents, is determined, and the embryo begins to develop, and will be the same human being for the rest of his or her life. So, because life begins at conception, does that not make abortion murder? The term murder can be defined as the unlawful and malicious or premeditated killing of one human being by another. Abortion is murder because it truly is human beings maliciously killing other human beings. Every person has the right to life, no matter the stage of development. The Declaration of Independence states, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." All Americans have these three basic rights: life, liberty, and happiness. However, one cannot have liberty or happiness without being alive. Life is the key to all of the rights that Americans have. From the moment of conception until natural death, every human being has the right to life. A common argument for abortion is that it is considered women's health care. In fact, the American College of Obstetric Gynecologists states that induced abortion is an essential component of women's health care. This argument comes from the viewpoint that abortion enhances a woman's life. It is true that abortion is a medical practice that has advanced over the years. However, that does not make it healthcare, and there is no case where abortion is essential. Healthcare has the best interest of all patients involved, where abortion only cares for the best interest of the mother. Abortion for the life of a mother is never necessary. Life-ending abortion is being confused with life-saving care. Some pregnancy emergencies may require the baby to be delivered early. However, the doctors will do everything in their power to save the mother and the child. These procedures do not directly kill the child, but may result in the death of the child, which is never the intent, and the loss of that child's life should be mourned and not celebrated. Many pro-choice advocates argue for abortion using the example of an ectopic pregnancy. An ectopic pregnancy happens when a fertilized egg implants outside of the uterus and most commonly in the fallopian tube, and it is a life-threatening condition that requires emergency treatment. Yes, ectopic pregnancies can be life-threatening, but the procedure for this condition is completely different from abortion. Removing an ectopic pregnancy is healthcare. Abortion is not. In fact, ectopic pregnancies are so rare, they only occur in 2% of pregnancies, and maternal health-related abortions in general only account for 4% of abortions in the United States. Abortion cannot be justified solely based on these rare occurrences. Another argument against banning abortion is abortion in the case of rape. Rape truly is a tragedy that should not be wished upon anyone. However, there is sin in the world, and this does happen. Many believe that abortion should not be made illegal because women who are raped should have safe access to abortion. Those who argue for abortion for rape victims believe that abortion is a tool to solve the pain and trauma of their situation. This promotes a society where the value of someone is subjectively determined by how others feel about them. Rape is not a viable reason for abortion because the innocent child should not be punished for the wrongdoings of a parent. Two wrongs do not make a right. For a rapist, the death penalty is too severe. However, an innocent child who is conceived through rape can be killed in a way more violent than capital punishment solely based on the actions of his or her father. Rebecca Kiesling, who is conceived in rape, is a living testimony that the value of life is not hindered by the sin of a parent. She writes, "One of the greatest things I've learned is that the rapist is not my creator, as some would have me believe. My value and identity are not established as a product of rape, but as a child of God. Psalm 68, verse 5 through 6 declares, 'A father to the fatherless is God in his holy dwelling. God sets the lonely in families.' And Psalm 27, verse 10 tells us, 'Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me.' I know that there is no stigma in being adopted. We are told in the New Testament that it is the spirit of adoption that we are called to be God's children through Christ our Lord. A huge and common misconception in our society is that the rapist is that child's creator. However, Christians know this to be false. God is the creator of all things, and he alone made every human. We are his creation and masterpiece, and he has a special plan for each and every one of us. No matter the parental situation here on earth, God is a good and loving father to his children. A common phrase heard from abortion supporters is "my body, my choice." Many believe that abortion is a right that women possess as citizens of the United States. Our Vice President, Kamala Harris, states, "No woman should be forced to continue a pregnancy against her will. It is her body and her choice." This stance on abortion believes that women have the right to do whatever they want with their bodies. It is true that women have the right to their own bodies, however, the fetus is not a part of the woman's body. It is only inside of her. And its dependence on the mother does not make it any less of a human being. When a woman is pregnant, she does not have two brains or two hearts. Her and her baby are two separate human beings with two different genetic codes. Benjamin Weicker stated, "Abortion is not a sign of women's empowerment. It is a sign that women have been abandoned by their men, by their families, by their societies, and by their governments." The abortion industry celebrates abortion as an exercising of women's rights. However, this is a huge misconception in today's society. It is heartbreaking to think that women believe they have nowhere else to turn but abortion. This is not something that should be celebrated. It deceives people into believing that they are exercising their rights as American citizens. In no circumstance does a woman's right to happiness override a baby's right to life, even if it is inside of her. Fast forward 40 years later. Savannah is sitting on her front porch with her granddaughter sitting on her lap, and her two grandsons playing in the yard. Her son pastors a local church in their town that is growing in number by the week. One of the boys playing in the yard asks, "Grandma, do you ever regret anything in life?" Immediately, her mind flashes back to when she was pregnant at 17 years old and sitting in the abortion clinic waiting room. In that moment, when her fear was overtaking her, Savannah had decided to pray, which was something she had not done in a while. "God," she had whispered, "I don't know what to do. I feel so lost." Then a Bible verse had come to her mind. It was Jeremiah 29:11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." At that moment, she had stood up and left the clinic and decided not to have the abortion. Snapping out of her flashback, Savannah said to her grandson, "You know what? Sometimes we go through very hard things that we do not think we will make it through, but God provides a way. I do not regret anything because I know that everything that has happened to me has been a part of God's perfect plan." So what does this mean for us as Americans? What actions can we take to stand against abortion? Living in the United States is a privilege because of our freedom. We have rights as American citizens that no other countries have, and these rights must be protected, like the right to life. Like Pope John Paul II said, the true test of our country's greatness is how we treat the weakest ones, and that is the unborn. So you may ask, how can I get involved in the pro-life movement? Some of the best ways to get involved are to vote for pro-life candidates, donate to pro-life causes, and be willing to stand up for the rights of the unborn. Because someone has to, right? Thank you.